All right. Hello, everybody. You are in the right session if you're looking for the sponsor showcase one. We'll ask for Alicia and Matt to stay on the screen for us. And everyone else can leave for now, and we'll explain more in just a moment. Hi, Florence. How are you?
Hey, Haley. Good to see you again.
Good to see ya.
Good to see everyone out there as well.
This is going to be a really fun session. This is brand new this year, so if there is like a little audio or video snafu or whatever of some sort, just go with it. We're all going with it. It's brand new. It's going to be really fun, though.
Can you tell Haley is taking it serious?
I have three screens, people. This is the command center, okay?
She's on it. She is definitely on it. Well, welcome everyone to our sponsor showcase. Today, you'll hear 3 dynamic interviews with leading higher education institutions, and we are turning up the heat. Each interview will run just 7 minutes, so get ready for fast-paced insights and inspiration. Let's kick things off with Matt from Blackthorn and Alicia from CU Boulder Leeds School of Business. I'd like to give a huge shout out to Blackthorn, our incredible sponsor, who has supported Higher Ed Dreamin all 4 years. Yes, bring it, Matt.
We love sponsoring this event. We will do it as many years as you continue to hold it.
We're going to hold you to that, Matt.
Please do.
All right, so here's how this is going to work. I'm going to share my screen. There's going to be a lovely situation on here with a nice little slide for about 30 seconds to a minute. I'm going to start the timer in just a moment. Once I start that, you'll see it for about a minute. We'll go off. Then we'll come back on when you have just a minute left, and then we'll cut you off very dramatically at the 7-minute mark. So we're going to leave the stage in just a moment, and it'll be all about you two. Are we ready, Matt?
I'm ready when you are. Alicia, you ready?
Okay.
Let's go. Let's do this.
I'm going to press start. We'll see you when there's 1 minute left on the clock.
All righty. All right. Well, hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us in the very first one of these conversations at Higher Ed Dreamin this year. I'm really excited to be here and to kick this off. I'm also really excited to be joined by Alicia Surin today. Alicia is one, as a vendor or as an ISV partner, we're not supposed to have favorite customers. Well, Alicia is definitely one of my favorite customers and partners that we get to work with. She is representing CU Boulder's Leeds School of Business. And by the way, it is CU, not UC. We'll get into that maybe eventually down the line. I run partnerships, tech evangelism, drum circles, and any number of other things at Blackthorn. And then Alicia, do you want to just give us the 10-second intro about you?
Yep. So I am the Assistant Director of CRM for the Leeds School of Business. That CRM, of course, is Salesforce. And I'm going on almost 5 years here and love every minute of it.
Awesome. So 5 years is really interesting because one of the things we're going to talk about is the fact that the org that you use is 15 years old. It's about to come up on its quinceañera year, so we're going to celebrate it somehow as we can. And it's not ever been on EDA. It's not on Education Cloud. It's on its own custom build that's not in the stabilization point, the go live point, or the implementation point. It's in that like change management, workflow revision, mature point. Can you tell us a little bit about the org, what it's like, and how Joanna's baby has been growing up in the hands of Alicia and team?
As its stepmom, as we like to say, she's great. Really excited about her quinceañera. She supports about 145 staff and students, mainly our advising for grad and undergrad, career services, employer relations, but then we do a whole lot with the back end side of the business school. So academic operations, faculty management, HR. So a lot of operational things as well, in addition to all the things business schools love to track, like employment, student engagement, and those employers that help us get those students some jobs.
Wow. And this org, this is the org that is an ERP that wasn't, right? Because it started off in a very non-academic capacity and has turned into something more academic in its capacity.
Yeah, it just keeps building and building. And yeah, we're in this phase of we're working with motivated stakeholders who are excited to either start a new process and use Salesforce to collect data for the school to use long term, or they've got a process that really, really needs some TLC.
Cool. So speaking of TLC and projects, I know you guys are working on a corporate relations project recently. And the whole reason we're having this conversation publicly is because we want to talk about change management and lessons learned and how you can take the lessons from a mature org and apply them across multiple projects in benefit of this community. Can you tell us a little bit about this corporate relations project, maybe how they might have cut in line at a certain point, and just a little bit more information there?
Yes. Oh my goodness. What a journey. We've learned so much about projects at the business school and our stakeholders in the last 2 years. Had a painful project that was a beautiful delivery, but our corporate partners, they didn't feel like they could wait for us to wrap up that project. So they went with a point solution against our recommendation. And 6 months later, I got a knock on my door of, hey, can we talk about using Salesforce to track our employer engagements and our corporate relationships? And I have to say that thankfully we have built really good relationships with our employees, our stakeholder groups, our staff, and our leadership teams to where it was like, you know what? Yes, you can cut the line because thankfully it's a good time and the dean wants this. So can't really say no to the dean. And been so glad we said yes. So glad we learned lessons through previous projects that were a little painful. And it helped us just realize that if someone's motivated and there's a good reason to do it, and it involves a whole lot of data that the school wants, it makes for some easy yeses. So
Who would have thought a point solution project came back with some level of difficulty or failure? That's never happened, and it's totally unfamiliar to anybody who is watching this session.
never.
How have you taken those learnings from both successful and unsuccessful projects and applied them to the projects that you're taking on now? Because I know you have a federated model, which is sort of leads roots, and you do a lot of hands-on training, which is really important. And that was talked about in the earlier CU session. So can you just tell us a little bit more about how you're taking these lessons for the benefit of the organization?
Yeah. So I'll start with training and the federated user model. So we are just getting back to your roots, like you said. We find that projects, departments, processes are more successful when we're hands-on, we're really engaged, like weekly meetings with people, and then doing trainings and retrainings and checking in with people to make sure that they have an understanding. A recent example is we have a new events team at Leeds. It's 2 to 3 years old, and it became clear that they needed to understand how to use Blackthorn for their benefit. Not just building events, but knowing what data they need. So Jeremy and my team partnered with the director of our events team, and they've been doing working sessions and workshops, not only with the events team who manage the events, but then also the different units across the school that are also event builders and creators, so that everyone's on an even playing field. They understand how to use the platform and the data that they need.
Amazing. All right. With the last 30 seconds, is there anything about Leeds that you want the entire community to know? Because really, you are the rock star here. I'm just here to help give you a voice.
Oh my gosh, there's so much going on. We have a new dean, well, newish, and we're taking the world by storm in our business school way. I'd say keep your eyes peeled. Hopefully we'll have more projects to share. And thank you for the time today, because I see the timer ticking down.
Awesome. And check out blackthorn.io for very cool announcements coming in the early new year. There might be some AI stuff and time.
Woo, woo. You did it. They did great. Sorry, I had some technical difficulties. I was trying to come on in a minute, but you rolled with it. Thank you.
Of course. Thanks for giving us the time.
Yeah, that was a masterclass. Thank you guys so much for sharing.
And for going first.
And for going first. First.
Always happy to be the guinea pig.
Yes, thank you.
Pilot, right?
That's right.
So up next, we have Jonathan from IntraEdge and Rachel from UMass Amherst. So we'll just ask Matt and Rachel to leave the stage and for Jonathan and Rachel to join us.
And we're just going to give Haley just a minute to get all the screens and the things and the stuff. And I think I need to refresh. So just a moment.
Right behind you.
So while you're doing that, let's take a quick moment to thank our sponsors, especially Vince and Ryan. Just 4 years ago, they were with us when we dreamed up Higher Ed Dreamin as a way for our community to share stories and stay connected. Oh, look, there they are. They are the true OGs, and we wouldn't be here without them. Are we almost there?
We're there. We're ready to go. You guys ready to start the timer?
Let's do it.
Okay, here we go.
All right. Well, thank you all so much. And thank you to everyone that has taken time out of their busy day to participate in Higher Ed Dreamin. My name is Jonathan Mayer. I'm the Principal Solution Architect with IntraEdge. You can read about us on the slide. But I want to turn it over to Rachel to introduce herself and tell us a little bit about UMass and the project we engaged with.
Absolutely. Hi, everybody. I'm Rachel Shipman. I am from University of Massachusetts Amherst. We are a large public research institution in the western part of Massachusetts. We're also part of the 5-college interchange with Smith, where Haley is from. We have been using Salesforce for about 10 years, and while our campus, has been kind of struggling with the artifacts of like a siloed approach to process and problem solving, we have a fabulous staff and that are very passionate about their students and so and providing a better student experience. So as a result of that, we have embarked on an initiative called Journey UMass, and the project we worked on with IntraEdge is part of that big kind of multi-year initiative to improve the undergraduate student experience.
Excellent. Yeah. And so just as part of that engagement, we really uncovered through our proof of concept that there was a need for more of a strategic roadmap. And just as a partner, I just want to say, thank you to the UMass Amherst team. Really grateful for their thoughtful approach, kind of unpacking and realizing through a POC, we really need to take a step back and do a strategic roadmap. And so we engaged the UMass team to provide a strategic roadmap. And we like to think about providing a trusted roadmap, where that roadmap is story-driven. And that tied in perfectly with Kimberly Clark's presentation this morning, the keynote, talking about how you have to leverage storytelling. If you're going to invest in capabilities, there needs to be a story behind why we're investing in those capabilities, why we're going to spend institutional resources on that. And also those capabilities that are going to be in this strategic roadmap, they need to be mapped to the key performance indicators that the university or the institution cares about, and also mapped to the overall strategy. That kind of, again, justifies that and positions the entire institution behind the roadmap. We also, in order for that roadmap to be trusted, we want to subject that to a pre-mortem where we get together folks that maybe aren't so confident that these capabilities are needed or that this approach is going to work, so that we're confident in moving forward. And then finally, a roadmap that's technically validated. So the technologies that we're looking to implement, making sure that they're going to work and they're going to do what's promised. Kim Clark also talked a lot about that, making sure that we can trust the technology that is validated. And then just that technology is aligned with that overall digital infrastructure. That framework, I think, is useful. Please hit me up in the chat and I can send it over. We have a copy of that slide. But also, whenever possible, when we're doing these kind of roadmap engagements, we like to meet in person for this kind of work. And I thought that was important. Rachel, what did you think about the need to meet in person?
Yeah, I thought it was really instrumental in ending up with the fantastic deliverable that we have. We heard, I think, in the keynote, like you mentioned, that the importance of convening, and then also in the ASU presentation that I went to in the last session, they talked about that the valuable time spent, when you actually dedicate a large chunk of time to get together in person and spend that valuable time together. I thought that brought in perspectives outside of IT that we really kind of needed to hear. So as an IT team, we spend a ton of time together. But to bring in the folks from the other areas of campus, student affairs and campus life, from administration and finance, from really just bringing everybody from student success, bringing everybody together into one place, we were able to get insights that we wouldn't have gotten in like a 1-hour online meeting. So we uncovered a lot of needs, like the need for the strategic roadmap, also like data work was a big theme. And it opened up a space for people to kind of share their experience, because our steering committee is really has a lot of tenure at UMass. And so like one of our colleagues from Student Affairs and Campus Life told a great story about kind of this time of year, December 23rd, being alone in our administration building because everybody's off for the holidays, and a student coming around and like knocking on doors, looking for help with an incomplete that they were trying to address, and his ability to help that person because of his long tenure and understanding of how things work. But like thinking about those kinds of scenarios and how we could bring that ability to all of our staff who are passionate about helping our students.
Yeah, that was an incredibly eye-opening story. Hearing from Pete talking about, basically, if he didn't have this institutional knowledge, he couldn't have helped the student would have been stranded. And I think I loved, we also had progress outside of the meetings. We were at dinner kind of reflecting on that story, kind of anchoring around that. And we heard from a team member that talked about how he used Salesforce to get information to help his student workers. He's like, only because I'm lucky enough to have Salesforce can I get the context to help a student worker navigate the university. And that added a whole new roadmap item, this idea of a student 360 view for any UMass faculty or staff to be able to understand the context of a student and give them the support. And so this all went together in this roadmap for a deliverable. Each of these items, it's a capability. They're tied back to those pain points, and including new pain points been covered. There's a frustration around incomplete grade management, which is actually part of the story that Pete told that got added to the roadmap as a capability that needed to get delivered. Then also tied to the university's KPIs and the strategies so that everyone was behind that. And then for each of those capabilities, we kind of had a progression where the capability could get extended over time to be improved so that there's kind of a mini roadmap within each capability that was getting delivered on the roadmap. So great working with the team, great having this deliverable. I don't know if Rachel, you have any closing comments as we're wrapping up here.
I know. I think just to echo that, this idea of, a strategic roadmap and repeatable process for developing that roadmap. I think, it was a fantastic experience and absolutely something we'll leverage that learning in the future to do, kind of follow the pattern that IntraEdge brought to us, and look forward to continue to working with them and also working on our own roadmap development using this approach.
Yeah, absolutely a pleasure working with the Amherst team. So on a personal note, I have a big career in Salesforce, worked at Salesforce for a little bit, got back into doing SI work because I really am passionate about turning over and really delivering the technology. Some of the stories that your team, Rachel, has shared with the ways you're using Salesforce to make things better for staff and make things better for your students, it really is inspiring and kind of a great first customer.
Yeah. Oh, what a great way to end. I wish I had my awe slide thing. Oh, they did it. They did it. Did you hear them? That was amazing. You guys covered a lot of ground. Wow. Cool. And Rachel, shout out to the Northeast. Woo woo. Great to see you. All right. We're going to welcome up ElevateActual.
Yes, let's give a warm welcome to Peter from ElevateActual and Jeffrey from Southern California University of Health Science. Great to have you here with us today. Now, this may be ElevateActual's first year as a sponsor, but they've been longtime contributors in our Higher Ed community, and we really, really appreciate the expertise that they bring to us, especially all of their time at the community sprints. Mm-hmm. We know Peter as the Form Assembly Wizard.
The Wizard, yep.
And of course, Common and our time we got to spend together when he was on the Salesforce Higher Education Advisory Council. Mm-hmm. So it's great to have y'all with us. They'll be closing us out strong in this session. Mm-hmm. So sit back, enjoy, and let's turn up the heat.
Let's do it. Starting the timer. Over to you, Peter.
Wonderful. Thank you all. Welcome, everyone. As I mentioned, I'm Peter Bernardi, CEO at ElevateActual, and we're engaged with Jeff's team at SCU to migrate them to Education Cloud. So Jeff, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Jeff. I'm with the Southern California University of Health Sciences, aka SCU. We're an integrative whole health university, and I'm the Salesforce admin for the admissions department.
Awesome. Let's jump right in. We've got 6.5 minutes. So off the top, what were the main factors that SCU considered when deciding to move to Education Cloud?
Great question, Peter. So for some context, our university currently uses Salesforce, but with TargetX on top of it for admissions. And fun fact, I actually looked it up before coming on the stage here. The software is actually as old as I am. It is founded the same year that I was born. So as with all kind of aging software, there were pain points that were only amplified by our growing enrollments. For example, the data structure of the sales software, Salesforce, inherently created challenges with funnel reporting. It left us in the dark on a lot of critical KPIs. We knew that we had to find a scalable solution that would serve our institution looking forward. And we realized this because many stakeholders expressed frustration when we couldn't even answer the questions we really should have had answers to. For example, I work very, very closely with the marketing department every day. And between our two departments, marketing wants to know if they're sending us quality leads. And we want to know if admissions is doing our part to convert those leads into enrollments. When we couldn't answer either of those questions, we knew it was time for an upgrade.
Oh no, yeah, the not having answers to the basic questions that I recommend to everyone in attendance. Maybe a good first beige, if not red flag.
Definitely red.
So, with all that in mind, how did you decide on prioritization for implementation? Obviously, everyone deals with very real timelines and budgets. So, how did you guys suss through that list?
Yeah, Peter, your team at Elevate actually did a great job helping us figure out what to prioritize during planning and discovery phase. So we decided to go with a reverse engineer strategy to replicate and extend our current config. So we wanted to make sure that our student information systems connection would be first before building out the rest of the admissions pieces in EdCloud, such as the app process, registrar's evaluation, so on and so forth. Our second priority was to address those very concerns that our stakeholders had, to make data and reporting more accessible. By doing so, it would allow us to make those data-driven decisions, such as informing marketing spend or where to allocate our daily bandwidth. And third, our priority was we wanted to overhaul our admissions processes so we could bring a more modern and streamlined experience for our students. Some of those wish list items in that regard included an app form that looked like it was actually made this century, or intuitive notifications to help our students get those documents in.
Yeah, we want to get away from the green text, black screen experience that everyone has lived through. Yeah, you mentioned all those priorities. So, how's the project going? Let's hear it right from you guys.
Yeah, so we're definitely deep into the project, into the thick of it. If I had to describe it in one word, I would actually say it's accelerated. So, right after our project got approved in the budget and the timeline was formalized, we received news from SCU higher ups that they had just completed 2 campus acquisitions. And so they were planning to go live 2 to 3 months before our scheduled project delivery. So, after the stakeholders and I all panicked collectively, we came to you guys and let you guys know the new developments. And together we all designed a new strategy to pivot so we can make those new deadlines.
A very fun call when we were going to go into RFI testing, and you and Robin said, "We have new campuses."
Yeah, definitely an unforgettable call. So now that it's December, we're planning on closing out this year with hopefully some successful testing cycles on those integrations and connections. And we really wanted to sign off on this piece before the holidays roll around because we all know how nuanced and tedious these integration tests are by nature. And for next year, the goal is to hit the ground running with some parallel workflows to develop several areas in EdCloud simultaneously. And this is really only possible because Elevate and your team has dedicated those resources onto our project. So I'm very, very excited to see what we can accomplish in that time frame.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of Corbin and Kaysen. That's for sure. Keep
You're
all
always
those calls
welcome at
rolling.
SCU.
So we've got just under 2 minutes left. So looking forward, we covered a little bit about priorities, the big pivot we had to do. Now we're designing a whole recruitment system for 3 campuses that are going to become 1. So what's next? Where are we headed next for SCU?
Yeah, well, at the risk of counting our chickens before they hatch, we're already in talks of phase 2 with you and the rest of the team. If you remember during the initial discovery, a lot of the conversation with stakeholders would sound like, oh, can we do this? Or how much lift would that really involve? And, the classic scope creep. And your team did a great job of categorizing what was realistic and feasible given our condensed timeline versus what looked more like a prospective phase 2 deliverable. And with phase 2 already in the back of our minds, we didn't want this project just to be a point solution for admissions. We wanted to lay a foundation that could extend across campus, or in our case, campuses. And I feel like at this point, I have to make an obligatory safe harbor statement. What I'm about to say is
Forward-looking
all
statements.
speculation. Please do not make any personal decisions based on what's in our backlog. But some things that we're exploring are leveraging Agentforce to supercharge our recruitment process, or the possibility of bringing on other departments to create a 360 university operation.
Yeah, once we wow admissions and marketing, get them answers to their very valid questions that we should have the answers to. Yeah, we might move on to advising, advancement, commerce for non-credit, super hot right now, and anything else that SCU wants to do.
All
So,
right.
10 seconds, let it rip.
I know we're almost out of time here, so I'll leave you with this lightning round. While we have no idea what the future may hold, I'm certain that together with Education Cloud's strong foundation, combined with Elevate support, we'll overcome obstacles.
Oh.
Yeah.
Beater.
Buzzer beater, we got it.
Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat
Put
because
it
I
in
still
the
want to
chat.
hear your answer.
I gotta say, you can't miss a good safe harbor statement.
Mm-mm.
We
I
were
would-
correct.
We were cackling. We were cackling.
Thank you both so much. And to all of our sponsors and all of the institutions that joined us for this session, we truly, truly appreciate you and all of your stories. And we'll see you in the next one.
We'll see you soon. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
Thanks, guys.
guys.